Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the pYanodons playthrough. It's Fantastic Mr. Ghost, and we're looking at our next project. Finally, it's gotten down to the new and improved hot air build. I'm really excited about getting this running up and debugging it and getting it to work better. I have a feeling I want to upscale this a little bit more. We'll have to see how it works, though, but for now, I'm going to go with this. And we're going to retrofit the old, one of the hot air builds that I have. I have two because I had problems with supply, so I just, made another one. And I'm going to take one of those, I'm going to prioritize it at 100 so that the trains will grab from there, and then I can watch it work. And that's what I did with the hydrogen chloride build. Speaking of hydrogen chloride, last episode... Like my little segue there. Yeah, we didn't work on that last episode. We did charcoal briquettes, and the entire base has been upgraded with both fuels now. Let's not forget about the charcoal briquettes' little brother here, the coal briquettes. And yes, all the the hot air has been upgraded to use this new fuel as well. So it's already in there. I just wanted to, test this build out and see how it's working. And it's going to change, but we're still using the coal power plants for hot air, so we're going to need this charcoal, or the coal briquettes anyway. So I was looking for all the oxygen furnaces on the map using Control or Shift F and the factory search, which is bringing up salt, which is another project I'll talk about in a second here. I came across the antimony oxide build, and boy, let me tell you, this thing is outdated, and it kind of reminds me of all the work I'm going to have with the upgrades to all of the smelting stuff. Anything that's taking a raw ore and turning it into a finished product, like, there's going to be molten iron, copper, all that stuff, steel. And then we have the antimony oxide here, which is the little vial, or whatever, that beaker. So this whole thing is going to be ripped and redone too. So yeah, if you see, this thing is a belt monster here. This was one of the first big builds I ever did when it comes to more throughput. And yeah, you can see it's a spaghetti mess. So this is going to be ripped and redone, and the coal briquettes is feeding it though. Now that brings me to my next problem that I'm starting to see, and it's kind of a good problem to have, but it just shows that how when you get to tier 2 and you start implementing the new technologies, you start seeing things changing in the base, and that's kind of what I've been noticing. Ash is going to be less and less now. I was using coal and, a little bit of coarse coal and coal dust to feed these. And that build is completely gone now. So I'm going to be getting, I think it's 4 megajoules of coal, which is coal, and you divide it by 180 megajoules, and that's how much less of a ash output I'm getting from this. That's a pretty big ratio. So over here by the first, well, this is not the first coal power plant I did. It was the first big monster that I built, because I think I was testing the coal power plants, and then I brought it down here to do an upscale build. So this is the first train-based kind of coal power plant that I had in earnest. And as you can see, look at this. The ash is like 295 here, and nothing is going on. Absolutely nothing over here. Now my idle power is probably around 2 gig, I think, and 1.7. It went down a little bit from when I last checked. The base is completely idle. If you click on this one here, you'll see, yeah, it's just a few things running. So idle power is about 1.7 gig. You can see, look at this ash output here. Now the efficiency modules alone have reduced the ash output from our coal power plants. Now let's, future planning here, future-wise, I'm going to have the coal briquettes, which are 60 megajoules, as opposed to the coal here, which is, again, 4. So, yeah, that's a huge reduction in ash. On top of that, the efficiency modules. So, already I'm thinking about a kite calc to raw fiber to ash build. So, that's going to be on the docket. It's the first time, I already contemplated that when was looking at the fuel and all that, and I knew that the ash was going to go down. This is going way back. So, yeah, this is all the ash I'm getting out of this thing at idle power 1.7 gig. Now, remember, I do have 3 of these power banks, which I'm going to be consolidating up northwest. And that's why I'm doing the hot air, because I got to get this out of here, and then the flue gas is going to be consolidated to where the acid gas is going to be made. So hot air to coal bed gas to sulfuric acid. Any extra acid gas we're picking up from other areas will get funneled to, you know, that common area, as well as flue gas. But we have to stockpile flue gas for other processes. There's some things that we need. I think the bio hub needs it. So I have a stockpile right here, and it's 100,000 flue gas. So yeah, you need it for spin-ups, creature spin-ups. I'm not sure. I'll take a look. I have to review it. It's been a while since I looked at the flue gas and other recipes that require it. So we're getting closer and closer to consolidating all the power into one area, and I'm really looking forward to it because, man, it's driving me nuts having it all over the place. All right, over here by the wax, coke, and heavy oil build, it's always exciting building new things, and what I really enjoy is debugging them and tweaking and finding, you know, better ways to, you know, do the operation. So you'll notice that the wax has been reconfigured here. It was bugging me, and I don't want to leave any wax on the table. I don't want to vent it unless I really, really have to. The next project that's in line after the hot air is all the smelting rebuilds. It's going to be nuts. And I'm looking at all the high-end recipes that we have unlocked now, and they're pretty nuts. So it's going to take a while to get through each one. Well, I don't want to waste wax in the meantime because we're going to need that for the advanced casting. That's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of high yield from that. So 400,000 wax plus 32 or 80% of 40, whatever that is, 32,000. So that's how much wax I'll stockpile. And after that, there's nothing I can do because as we consume coke, we're going to get wax from the bitumen process, you know, the bees. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and add tanks to this. It's 400,000 plus the 32, and I'm done. Some other updates to the build here that I did. Finally got the aromatics being turned into olefins, 75,000. You know, and I've been doing some building and screwing around. Now, also, I've got a I found another recipe, and it's taking the olefins. Is it olefins? No, aromatics plus hydrogen gives us the petroleum gas. So here it is. It's building up. It's 10K now. Wow. Now that's a trickle. All of these are trickles. The naphtha, the acid gas, the syngas, and the olefins are all kind of, well, the olefins is doing pretty good because we get a lot of aromatics out of this. Now I am venting the gas. I've got so much gas from the shale oil. I don't need to worry about it here. But I do want to stockpile it for, you know, the cracking and, you know, steaming process of all these fluids here. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to using this olefins later on. I'm glad I got it in. Yet another project I'm working on, and this is something I've been meaning to do. I started to notice that the amount of saline water that we need for other processes, you know, it's going up. You know, every so often we'll have more demand. And I built the saline water originally way back because we need it for the, I think it's the green circuit, the simple circuit. And then, you know, oh, now we need it for this and this and this, right? Well, the transport of salt and the amount of salt you need for this washer recipe is insane. And it's very inefficient to drive the salt around. It only stacks to 50, and the salt mines are very slow. Now, I primarily have salt mines on the west side of the base here, so I'm a little concerned about that. However, the compression from salt to the saline water is really high. It's, I think, 10, 15 salt per craft. And training the salt to the saline water builds is just not happening anymore. So I've converted I've added this to 3 salt mines currently. I'm going to do a 4th one, and that's where I was doing the test of the hydrogen chloride build that I have with the drilling fluid type 2. So now I have 3 of these. There's only one that I'm not going to convert, and there's it's kind of tight. I can't get in there maybe, or something else. I can't remember, but I'll do a review. In fact, well, let's see here. I've got all these salt mines here. Let's see. This one is done, and I had to go. I went across here and I cut it a lane. This is the old one of the stone mines here. This one's done here. I got a washer and a saline water drop off there. Yeah, here's one. I can. The reason I'm not doing this, I'd have to retool this whole thing. and I'm not too happy about the rail. And I have this raw gas here, so I'd have to figure out how I'm going to get the rail to work here. This whole rail system I have to redo. So I didn't do this one, but I might do it. It's just I got to redo all the rails, so I just kind of stopped. And the next project I have is I'm going to move the hydrogen chloride out of here. I'm kind of satisfied with the test, and I've got some new ideas, and I'm really excited about implementing those. It's going to simplify this whole thing, which is great. And so this salt mine here is to the south, and it's southeast. And most of the salt mines that I have are in this area, around here. And a lot of the stuff that needs saline is around here and over here. Now, that brings me to the next phase of this project, shutting down the old salt or saline water builds. Now, these existed prior, and sometimes you get on something and you keep going with it, and then it takes a little while, and then you start realizing, I got to shut this down. So I have the saline water here and here. This one was the first one I ever built, the saline water build. And then I added one here because I was feeding the fish with it, keeping the fish happy here. So now what I did is I shut down the salt. It's all gone. And I have a couple tanks here, just to save the salt. I don't want to waste it. And now I'm delivering saline water via train to the fish build here. And it'll be fine. And then up here, I have a shutdown as well. I got a bunch of saline water here. And both these are set to provide threshold 1000. I want the train to come here no matter what and provide priority of 100 because I want to empty these out. Speaking of emptying, here is where the old coal power, well, it was the fuel for the, oxygen furnaces and the hot air producers, the coal power plants. And here is the coal. That's what's left of it. What I've done, I'm using a lot more coal dust here. So I converted the coal using a ball mill into coal dust. So you can see I've got a ton here. And if a train does come by and pick up coal, great. In the meantime, when this drops, I'll come over here, I plop some ball mills down, and I'll run this until I fill all these cases again. So I think it's 5 coal to 10 coal dust. And it's a pretty decent recipe if you have a coal lying around for from some other process. All right, and the final update that I have here that I did off screen is the aramid fiber and the molybdenum plate. These hydroclones here are very hungry for hydrogen, so I reworked this area, and I've noticed this for a while now. I tore out the destructive distillation columns I had, DDCs, and those were producing the nitrogen. And I thought, well, I have nitrogen being produced from the bitumen, so why don't I just train it over here? Well, this thing eats so much nitrogen, I couldn't keep the trains coming here fast enough. Well, one train of 25,000, coming from like 3,000 meters away, I think it is, somewhere around there. It just couldn't keep up. And I don't like to see machines shutting down when I need them running. So now I'm bringing in bitumen here, and ionic upgraders are taking that, converting it into the hydrogen. This hydrogen here is left over from the case that I had. And then that also allowed me to clean the rail up and fix some things here. So I got the TSM picking up this crap here. I got to get this rail out here. So when I go over here next to pull that tank up, I'll grab that rail as well. So this, I'm hoping that the bitumen has a lot more, it's more dense. If you, from going to bitumen to hydrogen, it should be better on the train traffic is what I'm looking at here. But I'll keep an eye on this and make sure it's working. All right, now for this stuff here. I'm going to be doing the drilling fluid type 2 in a separate build. And guess what? I forgot I have guar beans on the network. Remember the farming? Well, I sure didn't. So that old build, when I circle back to that old build for the sodium hydroxide and all that, that was an old way of thinking, right? And then I slept on it for a bit, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why am I doing all this? I've got the guar beans here. So it took me a little while to kind of circle back around and go, wait, I have a farming build. So that changed everything. So now I'm going to train around the drilling fluid type 2, and mainly if I need saline water to something, right? I can actually do this for the, what is it, the simple circuits. We need saline water there. So instead of training it in, I can build it on site. So all it takes is the drilling fluid and small parts. But you know, sometimes you're like, well, wait a minute, why don't I just drive the saline water there? But that would just be kind of like maybe an example. So training the saline water is probably better for that. Maybe that's a bad example. But anywhere I need saline water, drilling fluid, small parts, done. Now this is the hydrogen chloride build that I'm going to be using. So I'm gonna rip the one out I have, and this kicks out the sodium hydroxide. So I'll have a case that has a priority on it, and that way the trains will pick it up. So, and that's why I built the two together, because I wanted to be able to consolidate them. So I don't know, I might do this hydrogen chloride a little further east, and then have the sodium hydroxide there as well. You know, slake lime build, because there's a lot of sodium hydroxide demand to the east where all the circuitry stuff is. So this is the edited build, and the mining fluid might, I'll train the mining fluid in just to keep this under control. Because, you know, if you think about it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, four inputs. Then we got another 3, and I'd rather just separate them out. And I think that the mining fluid requirement isn't too high. It's like 50 over 10 a second, right? So this, and then I can expand this if I want to. I can, you know, I have a footprint allocated, and I can build up on more mining fluid. Now, there are better mining fluids out there, or drilling fluids. There's a 3 and a 4, and I think the higher the drilling fluid, the more you're going to get out of the operation. So right now, if you use drilling fluid 1, it was like, well, why would I bother with that? But now drilling fluid 2 has a lot more bang for our buck. 3 and 4 are nuts. They're crazy. Okay, so that brings us to the next project. Today's project here, we're going to be working on the hot air. Now, I'm going to retrofit one of the current hot air builds that I have. And so let's take a look at that real quick. So here's one of the hot air builds that I have. Now, the issue is, now I am bringing in the coke oven gas from the coke process that I have. That's the inefficient one. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to shut that down or not, because I'm relying on the new build, the bitumen with the bees. So the question is, do I need those other builds still? Now, because they're still in operation, I think I'm going to leave this all in place here. And the reason for that is just in case I do rip those builds down, then I have this process already built into the hot air producer here. Now, the issue is coke is produced from here, and I have this system here to burn it off. But the problem is it may not burn it off. I'm worried it may back up. So what I'm probably going to do is this belt, instead of burning it off in the coal power plants, I'm going to offer to the network and then do a priority on it, is what I'm thinking. But that's only if this runs. And it's also a fail-safe on the coke oven gas here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate these stops out. I'm not going to do one stop. I'm going to have separate these out. It's just ugly, and I hate this. This was the old way I did it. Just goes to show you how old this build is. So I'm going to rip this out. After I update this part, the loading part, the coke oven gas, then I'll make a stop here to pick up the coke. And from here on over, it's all new stuff. And it's going to be, I'm going to try and tighten it up a little bit, you know, because we're going to have a lot more things. We have 4 stages to this. So the plan is to use all this. Now I can reuse the molten salt. Right now it's all hot. I can reuse that, and coal power plants and stuff. Now, the plan is, the way I've got it here, I don't know how it's going to perform based off of the old build here. So I'm going to build it so it's expandable, and I can add capacity to it. So, oh boy, this is going to be a fun one, though. So I got to bring in copper plate, nickel tar. I already have the coke oven gas on site, and also the, you know, that raw coal to coke build there. We got to bring in acid gas, not a problem. This one needs, oh, and then we need the organic solvent, naphtha. And then after that, what I'm going to do is do the diesel. on site as well. So I'll kick that over. So we'll have the hot air, then diesel. And I want to have that on the network for later on. All right, well, let's get started. Alrighty, folks. It is done. And yeah, there's some things I forgot. This is a real tough one to edit because I would sit here and I record everything, but then I chop out when I'm sitting here scratching my head and contemplating why I'm playing this mod. I love this mod. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy it. But this is a new build, and something I haven't done before. So there's a lot of uncertainty here, a lot of things I don't know. And you find things out when you hook it up after the fact, because there's so much going on in these things. First thing is all the frickin' sulfur you get out of this nightmare. Holy crap. So I have this little buffer case, and I come to find out, oh my gosh. This is a good thing, though. But it was like, it shocked me. I'm like, whoa. So you get an amazing amount of sulfur. Now, the spin up was insane. I set up the train. Look at this. 2,900 sulfur in this case. And I think the train, I'm using the trash train yard, the TSM to pick this up. I think I had 3 trips with the, what are they? It's 2 rows times 2. So 4 rows. 4 times, I think, what is the stack? 250 or 100? 100! So we had 1, 2, 3, 4,000. I think times 3 trains. Now, this all had to buffer up, and then I ran this. So, yeah, there's a lot of sulfur. And remember, I beefed this up here, by the way. Remember that this only replenishes 5 gas a craft. Well, it's times 2 now, so 10. But this thing is really, I like the front end of this. It's pretty fun. I still have to figure out what I'm doing here. I don't know where I'm going to put this crap, because, after I might move this down here. Well, no. All right. Here's the thing with this. So you get so much sulfur. So let's go back here. I hooked this up. Luckily I had a spot here for refined syngas, which I'm making at one of the power plants. Power plant 3.0, I'm calling it. Well, it's actually 1, 2, 3. Let's just say 1, 2, 3. So 1 is the old one, 2 is the newer one, 3 is the one I moved. And then I'm going to consolidate everything, right? Okay. So anyway, I popped this in here because I'm like, how am I going to get rid of this freaking sulfur? I mean, there's got to be a use for it. Sulfur, sulfuric acid, or something. This isn't vanilla, right? So, we get acid gas from this. And I'm like, ooh, this is going to play in really well with the coal bed gas and when we're making acid gas. So I have it opened my eyes to a whole new world here for that build. So when we build this hot air build for the coal bed gas, so we can process that, the first thing that you want to do is make the refined syngas, because this hot air build is going to generate so much sulfur, we want to capture that and make acid gas. Then the acid gas can turn into sulfuric acid, of course. Well, we need syngas first, right? So we do coal bed gas to refined syngas, and then we stockpile the acid gas for a bit, and then, or we can do the next build we can do is the acid gas. I hope I'm saying this right. And then we get flue gas out of that, so we have to flip that back over, convert it back into acid gas. So we get a nice little kind of feedback loop there, which we have to process. Then we do, after this, I think we would do, we do the acid gas. So it's syngas refined, then acid gas to sulfuric acid. Then we do, the other ones that come from coal bed. So it's coal gas and syngas after that. It doesn't matter which one. So I thought that was pretty cool. And again, I'm going to pull this probably down here somewhere, or I might do a stop here and just pipe the aromatics over, because I'm not going to do anything with the diesel, so I just need 1 and 1. As long as I have a tank of 100 grand of diesel, and then I can pull from it, and then I can do something different with it. Maybe I'll take the olefins out, by train, prioritize it. Maybe not. Maybe I won't do the diesel yet. I don't know. So I'll decide on that later. After that's all said and done here, this is, yeah, that's the aromatic one. Okay. What is this now? This is acid gas. Yeah. So after, boy, this was a kind of a, threw me for a loop here too. So I got my salt here. I might have to do more tanks. I don't know. It depends. So one thing that I thought I could do, and you can't. Okay. So this output, this has to have less than 500, equal to or less than 500 C of the outlet gas 4, and it kicks out the 1000. All right. Now, this stage here, this stage 4, kicks out 1000 as well. So I'm popping it into this tank and I'm metering it. So this is the replenisher, and these are the reheaters, right? Now somehow I got 14 grand in here, but I think that's because I was screwing around. I had some bricks left over and I was trying to get rid of them. So because I was trying to get rid of those bricks, I created more gas, I think, because it was pulling more gas in. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Now, what I got here is I got the feedback loop for the bricks to be reheated here. And you can see I got 3,500 in here. This is from the old build, you know. Now, here's the weird thing. Okay, this is the 1000 degrees C. You have to skip the middle one here, which is the warmer brick. And this one takes greater than or equal to 1000. This is the hot brick. And then the warmer brick, I think it's, no, warm. Yeah, warm. This one takes greater than or equal to 500. So you can use both gases here for this build, for the warm brick and the hot brick. I like how they got the hot side. It looks like a Dorito, hot Dorito. Haven't had Doritos in a while. I gotta try some. Now, this kicks out 250 C gas. That needs to go back and get heated. And this one here, the hot brick, kicks out 750. Well, guess what happens? If you combine the 750 with this, the return, okay? So notice how this is 264, okay? 264. So if you look at this one, it only takes less than or equal to 500. Now, what I did was I thought, well, I'll just kick this out and put it back in, and, you know, we'll see what happens, right? Come to realize that this is 750. So this one kicks out, the middle, the warm bricks, kicks out 500. And it needs greater than or equal to 750. So that's 1000. So you would think that you could put, I might be able to put the 1000 in here. Oh, no, it didn't work. It didn't work, I don't think. 750 greater than or equal to. No, it should work. The problem was the 500. I may have screwed up and had, this one's 2. What does this one kick out here? Oh, I have the numbers here. I forgot. This is how confusing it gets. This one needs 500. This one kicks out 250. This one, now I need a greater than equal thing, so I know. This one takes 750, kicks out 500. This one takes 1000. This one kicks out 750. I think I had the 750 going to the return. So what I think I can do, oh, yeah, that's the problem. Here's the rub. The 750 has to be consumed, and it's consumed here. Otherwise, there's nowhere for it to go. And you can't put it on the return because it'll raise the temp of the gas. And so there's mixing. You can mix, and it raises the temp. I thought it would be a different material, right? For example, you can't mix to, you know, syngas and you know, say organic chemicals, whatever. Organic, yeah. Well, what's a better? What is this stuff called? The organic solvent. Yeah. So, for example, you can't, you know, if you're a Factorio player, you know this. Can't mix it, right? Well, I thought that was the case. I'm like, well, okay, let me try it. Well, the gases actually add, and that's cool. That's fine. I like that, right? So you have a 500 gas and a 750 gas, so it'll normalize, it'll equalize, right? So, you know, take it, divide it in half and add it, whatever. So the output of this hot bricks, the 750, I added it to this gas and the 250. So it averaged out to be higher because I was also probably putting something else in here. So basically, what I'm going to probably do is have an inline tank here so that it's like a shock absorber. Because what happens is, what I noticed, that's why I have more machines here, because I was trying to get rid of the bricks I had, and it kept throwing the system off. This is a balanced system. So I'm probably gonna put another machine here, like so, and another one here up this way, like so. And the second part of this, because I'm gonna rework this for the coal bed gas, I'm gonna spread this out a little more, and I have to use mini loaders because this thing is so fast. And yes, you notice 200,000 tank, 200,000 hot air. I thought the other build was fast. Holy cow, this thing is insane. I need to use red mini loaders and red belt to get this stuff moving, and I can't keep these things fed. It's insane. So I'm very happy with this build. I am so happy with it. I can't wait to get it working with the coal bed gas. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. All right, I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, we'll get cracking on that new system. I'm so excited. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.